What's up guys, Zelonius here, another video. This was a request actually. It's a bit of a follow on from one we did yesterday about custom tactics, player instructions. Not quite directly from that, but it kind of links to that a bit. And it's something that a lot of people don't actually realise even exists. And people who do realise it is not even 100% sure a lot of the time how it works and how it affects players. It's player traits, and we're going to be looking at those today. I've got the list on the FIFA database up of every single player trait that's in the game. I'm going to talk through them all and say, as far as I'm aware, how they work. I've done some research on them today to have a look at. I already had a good idea about a few of them. But yeah, I'm going to talk you through them, and I'll just say now, player traits make a huge difference to play. There's some players, like, I'll talk about one of them in particular and show you his traits. But Paulo Dybala, who's only an 85, but he's like almost a 90 in terms of if you take away the strength and heading, and that's why he's not as good as a striker, but he's one of the best players in the game. Paulo Dybala has like 6 traits, and traits can really make a player a lot better. So, without further ado, we're going to go look into the traits, and I'll talk you through them and say if I think they're a good trait and how important I think they are. Okay, avoid using weaker foot is the first trait. I think that one, for the most part, is positive. Generally, it's used by players who don't have a very good weaker foot, like Arjen Robben, I think, has it on the game. Paulo Dybala has it. If a player has a worse weaker foot, you don't want them to be using the weaker foot, goes without saying. Generally, anybody under 4-star weaker foot has a pretty inconsistent pass or shot on their weaker foot. If they avoid using it, they're going to be doing it on the stronger foot, going to be doing better passes, going to be doing better shots. You want that. There is the occasion when they maybe should have used the weaker foot, because that was the only way they could have curled the shot or got the angle. But generally, I think avoid using weaker foot is good. It's a pretty self-explanatory one. Cautious with crosses. So this is a keeper one. I think that cautious with crosses is not a good trait. I think a lot of the time there's crosses that a keeper could come for that are very easy to get and catch the ball and quick start counter-attack, that if they leave, the opponent has a chance to head in when they don't need to. Very rarely, I think, sometimes coming for a cross is bad, but I think most of the time you want the keeper to come for the cross. Comes for crosses is the other trait, the opposite to that. I think you want your keeper to have comes for crosses. It's better for me. So if a keeper has cautious with crosses, I think Buffon has that, I'm not certain, then it can be a negative in my opinion. Shooting chip shot. Okay, I think this is one that Lewandowski or Gonzalo Higuain have. Fairly explanatory. If they have the chip shot trait, their chip shots are better. Good trait. It's not a vital trait. It's not often you use the lob shot or the chip shot, but it's a good one in my opinion. Backs into player. Okay, I think this one was new that was added this year. It's very good for target men with strength. So if you've got somebody like, let's have a look. I've got the 84 Balotelli. I'm not saying he has this trait. I think Diego Costa, my 86 one, does. He's got 95 strength, Balotelli. If they back into players, a player who's got that much strength will, one, make space for their team by holding the ball up, and two, be able to knock players about. If they have really good strength in this trait, it's a very good trait that can be very well used by a target man. It takes skill to use it properly, but I think it's a nice trait. Corner specialist. I think pretty explanatory. They just take better corners. It's a nice trait to have. Crosser, early crosser. I think that one just adds a bit more curl and whip onto crosses. So if you like to cross it into the box, I will make a point, I don't think cross is that good this year. If you like to cross it, that's a pretty nice trait. Just makes a bit more whip and bend on crosses. Dives into tackles. I'm not sure if this one is necessarily an online one that when you're controlling the player they do it as much. I'm not certain about this, but some of the traits for sure are ones that the AI, if the AI is controlled a player and they have this trait, they're more likely to do it. Whereas dives into tackles, I think, just suggests that they'll slide more. But I don't think if you're controlled it makes them do that, obviously. Dribbler, speed dribbler. That's a very nice trait. A lot of the best players of the game have one of these traits: dribbler, speed dribbler, or technical dribbler. Speed dribbler players like Messi and Ronaldo have it. It basically, as you can probably guess, means the faster the player's running, when they're dribbling, they can still dribble and change direction at high speeds, and they won't slow down much because they're dribbling. I mean, Ronaldo on the ball, it'll still be a bit slower than when he's sprinting, but due to the speed dribbler trait and a high dribbling stat, it means even when he's sprinting, he will still not slow down too much because of dribbling. Flair. It's quite a nice trait. This one just, I think, means they do more things like overhead kicks, back heels, one touch outside of the foot shot, stuff like that. Flair, there's quite a few players in the game that have this. Neymar has it. It just allows them to do a few more fancy things. A lot of the time you can do this anyway by pressing the left trigger button, L2 or LT, depending on what console you're on. But if they've got the Flair trait, they'll do it more anyway off their own back. Can be annoying at times because sometimes you don't want them to do a back heel, but it can also be quite a nice trait if used well. Giant throwing. Not many players in the game who have this. I think Gulam from Napoli is one of them. Giant throwing can cause real dangers if you've got good target men in the box and your opponent doesn't see it coming. It's not utilised too often, but it can be effective. Goalkeeper 1-on-1. As you can imagine, just makes keepers better at 1-on-1s. Neuer has this. I think it can come in useful. I'm not quite sure how big or a difference it makes, but I'd rather have it than not. Inflexibility. I'm not too sure what this trait means. I don't think it's one that really affects the players too much. I think it's basically a player who's not very agile. If a player wasn't very agile anyway, has I think it's players under 40 or 50 agility. If they don't have much agility anyway, you're not going to be doing stuff that involve agility like overhead kicks or quick sharp turns. Not too big deal. Obviously you don't want that on a player, but not many elite players of the game will have that. I'm not sure if there is any elite players who have it. Injury prone, more injuries. On Ultimate Team, it's quite frustrating when you have a player with this. Gareth Bale has it. You don't want to be spending your coins on injuries. So if you have that trait, it's pretty annoying. It's not a game break. It was pretty bad at the start of the game, or start of this year's game, when players could go off injured. But now it's generally just more injury cards will be used on that player. It's annoying, but it's not going to make or break whether you sign Gareth Bale for me. Leadership. As far as I'm aware, I don't think this really affects the game too much. It's just to say that the player has more leadership. I think Totti has it. There may be a case of, with momentum, if you have players with leadership, that they can curb that more or inspire your team more. Without EA really telling us about momentum, it's hard for me to say that properly. Long throw, just a lesser version of giant throw. One club player, I can only imagine this really affects career mode. So if you've got Messi or Giggs used to have it, if they've got the one club player trait, I think De Rossi has it too, then in career mode, they're not going to leave you or not going to request a transfer. Passing, long passer. Scholes has that, I think. It just allows you to play longer passes better. A lot of these are quite self-explanatory. Playmaker, generally, it's a bit like speciality. Anybody who's got the Playmaker trait will play better through balls. Their passing's more consistent. Power header, that is a really nice one to have. I really like that one. As you can imagine, it's more powerful headers. Diego Costa has that. You really do notice a difference with these players that they just have a lot more oomph on their headers. Can make a big difference in scoring. Selfish, I think that's the only one that affects the AI. Selfish player will be greedy, hold on to the ball more. Shooting, finesse shot. Finesse shot's one of my favourite shots this year. I think the finesse shot basically means that if you've got that, your finesse shots are better, more curved, more accurate. It's a nice one to have. I really like that one. Long shot taker. This one, generally any player with good long shots like Pogba, Inform Brozovic, players like that, they'll have this. Just adds more dip and accuracy and power onto the long shots. If you want to be taking long shots, that's a great trait to have. Chip shot, as you can imagine, just better chip shots. Sweeper keeper, Neuer and Hugo Lloris have this. It just means they come to the edge of the area a bit more, sweep up through balls more. Most of the time this is pretty good, although they do make some stupid mistakes. I'd rather have the trait than not. Swerve passes, very nice one. Adds better through, add more curve and swerve onto the through balls. Can make quite a nice difference, I like that one. Takes powerful driven free kicks. If you like to hold the LB or L1 button for your free kicks to put a bit of power on, can be really nice. Can make quite a difference on free kicks, adds that bit of extra power. Takes finesse style free kicks, like Messi or Payet, just adds more bend and dip onto free kicks. Generally, if a player's got good free kicks, they'll have one of those traits. They're good traits to have. Target forward, as far as I'm aware, just a bit like backs into defenders. Just makes them better target men. They hold the ball up. They play like a target man more. If you like that style of play, it's very nice. Technical dribbler. Pogba has this. Mertens has it. It allows them to dribble a very close ball control. If you use the L2, R2 buttons, you'll notice that their close ball control is so tight. Can really make a big difference. I prefer that to speed dribbler. I'm not quite sure which one really is better, but to me I just like technical dribbler. Tries to beat defensive line. I really like this one on strikers with good movement. Javier Hernandez has this. Any player who's got decent acceleration and really good positioning tries to beat defensive lines, a brilliant trait, because it just means that if you put the player instruction to sit on the shoulder of the defender, press back line, then they will do this even more. It can be absolutely amazing and give you some really good passing options. I really like that trait. But if they have low movement, it's not a good one because they make bad runs. But as far as I'm aware, it's only on players with good movement anyway. Ultimate Professional, don't really know too much. I think that's a career mode one that they'll not come complaining to you about much. The last three are goalkeeper ones. We've got Long Thrower. I think long throw on a keeper's brilliant. It's not as vital as it used to be perhaps, but I'd much rather have it on a keeper than not. It allows you to start attacks quicker and get it up the pitch, which is very nice. Puncher. This one's 50-50. Sometimes it's good for him to puncher. I think Lloris has this. If they have puncher trait, then it can be very nice because it can quickly start a counter attack. Sometimes you'd rather just them catch it so you can direct it, take a bit more time to build your attack. So it's a bit of a random one. Pushes up for corners. I don't know if any keeper actually has this. Self-explanatory, they just go up for corners if you're losing more regularly. Okay, to finish off, that's all the traits. We'll look at Dybala and discuss the traits he has and what makes him better. Okay, Dybala. He has 7 traits. One of the reasons that he's such a good elite player on the game. Avoid using weaker foot. So he's only got freestyle weaker foot. Although not the worst. You'd much rather have him on his stronger foot, which is his left. Shooting finesse shot. Brilliant one to have. Makes his finesse shots lethal. If you've played with Dybala, you'll notice this. Flair, so he does more back heels outside of the foot. Tricks, etc. They're very nice. Playmaker, on top of being a brilliant finisher, dribbler, he's got Playmaker, so his through balls and his all-round passing game's great. Technical dribbler, so he has really tight, close control, can make a big difference. Corner specialist, so his corners are more accurate, more deadly. Takes finesse style free kicks, so Dybala's got more bend and dip on his free kicks. There's quite a lot of even elite players who only have 1 or 2 traits. For Dybala to have 7 makes a big difference and really makes him a top player. So when you're looking to compare players, don't just compare their individual stats, compare their traits as well. They really make a big difference. I think it's been quite a long video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's any questions or if there's any disagreements about how I've explained some of the traits, please let me know. I hope this video has been helpful and brought to your attention how important traits really can be to a player. Have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Really do appreciate it. If you like these videos, please share them. I really want to grow this channel. I need your guys' support. Zelonius out.